Mark in the count. The swing arm now coming back as our countdown continues.
Happy Sunday, everybody, and welcome to the Brick Something News. And I'd love to welcome my co-hosts for today to my that way, left, right, whatever it is, Gene and Josh, who together make up the Collecting Brothers. Hey guys, welcome to the channel.
Welcome. Thank you for having us. And just a quick correction, I got a French name.
Oh, Jean.
It's John, yeah.
Sorry, that's right. I hear you say it, and then I was reading it. Yeah, but is it Jean, or do I hear you kind of more go John?
Yeah, it's just John. It's like the French spelling. I'm Hispanic, but like it's just what it is, man. But yeah, no worries, no worries.
All good. And see, we were talking about names earlier because it is weird. We do the whole pirate thing with code names and stuff, but my real name is Sergio Luis or Sergio. So I go through a similar thing where it's like Sergio, Sergio, right. I'm Filipino. We were conquered by Spain and the U.S.
Right,
so
yeah.
Pick one. And
we were too.
Right on. But thank you and apologies. Welcome to the channel, the Collecting Brothers. And I did want to start off. I don't normally do this, but because the part of why I've been intrigued by your channel is the idea of collecting brothers. Could you all like give us a little bit of history of like you two as collectors and how you started to doing this whole YouTube toy podcasting thing?
Yeah, I can go first, Josh. What I kind of went through is I was always collecting. I think my first earliest figures were like just Lord of the Rings figures, the old Toy Biz stuff, and kind of developed into NECA. But just as a family, like we've always collected. We've always had toys in the house. We've always gotten like, the little plastic toys you get from McDonald's toys, right? And so it was always been part of us. And then as we got older, I moved out of their house, and we were just playing Xbox, right? We played like just Halo, and just most of our conversations would just go into action figures that week that we saw, or news that we saw, and we would just talk about that. And me and Josh were just like, what if we just start recording this? And thus became the Collecting Brothers.
Wow. And how long ago was that? Did that start?
About a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been about a year and a half.
That's awesome. And
we're up to like 76 episodes now, so it's getting up there.
That's amazing. And only two brothers. You mentioned like their house. Is there only the two brothers, or are there other collecting brothers or siblings? Or
yeah, there's 5 of us. I got 2 sisters. We have one more brother, but yeah, just 2 of us that kind of get into it. And our other brother does collect more like Nendroids and stuff like that.
Yeah, awesome. Like anime Nendroids and anime like Figmas and SH Figure Arts. That's what he collects.
I love it. And so, like, are your parents at all interested in this stuff? Are they like geeky? Like, how did you all get into it?
Honestly, I attribute most of my taste in like film and all that to my dad. Like, it's weird because like we're first generation immigrants, but he just knew what good movies are, and he still does. And we just got exposed to like Star Wars really early on. Predator. I watched Predator as a kid,
Yeah.
So that I probably should have watched, but like Matrix too, and I don't know. It's just always. I want to say they're geeky. I think they just know.
He's just a movie buff. Like he'll watch anything, like foreign films, like from just really bad films to really high production films. He's just a movie buff. All he does is watch movies.
Nice. Yeah, I mean the whole cinephile, like geeky, like I use the term geeky broadly, but just the idea of like I don't know where we are in age, but for my parents necessarily and their generation, it wasn't so like encouraged to have a passion. Really, it was kind of like get a job, do your thing, family, come to then migrate, do your thing, put your head down, just work. Yeah. And so, but it's funny that I don't know if this was intentional or maybe they were like trying to live through my brother and I. But there was very much this like they encouraged our passions, like, and they helped actually sort of like get us going in many ways, whether it was my dad coming home with comic books one
Nice.
day, and or I don't know, or if anything, just even doing, I mean, they were immigrants to this country, but they still found ways to buy us toys, which was like, I still can't wrap my head around how they were able to do that. So
I
anyway.
feel that as well too. I think our family
Mhm.
was like that as well. 'Cause, like, my mom always pushed me to do like music, sports, anything like to get me interested. She's the one that actually bought me my first comic book, graphic novels. Like, how I got into reading was I wasn't reading normal books, and my mom's like, "What about this? It's got pictures." And then
Nice.
I actually Ultimate X-Men Volume 1 was the first book I ever fully read cover to cover.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And then I'm just curious, what lines were you both into like as young people, and then generally, what are you collecting now?
So like, yeah, there's just always been like a collecting itch with me. Like even when I was younger, it was just like Legos, right, and Pokemon cards. Like I just wanted exactly right.
Yeah.
And then it kind of switched over to like, since John was getting the Lord of the Rings figures, I'd get a couple too. And then after that, it was like McFarlane's Halo line, because we really liked Halo. Like they're 3 3/4 inch, kind of 4-inch figures. And then after that, it was once those 6-inch, because I never really collected vintage like Star Wars, but Star Wars is always like my number one, right? And then in 2013, when they finally started the Star Wars Black Series line, that's when kind of just this started to snowball. Because then it was like you get just this, I was like, I'm just gonna get the Marvel Legend, I'm just gonna get Spider-Man, that's it. And then I ended up getting all the Marvel Legends, and then it just spawns to G.I. Joe, Power Rangers, and now I collect literally, I think I collect every single line. That's where it's at.
Yeah. How about you, John?
Yeah, same thing. Just early collecting. I loved, they had gimmicks back then, but as a kid, you liked it. For me, what really took it into like full collector mode was the NECA Pacific Rim line.
Oh.
For the longest time, I was like one of those inbox collectors. I kept them mint on their little plastic blister packs, displayed them, hung them up, and I loved them. And then from there, I went into Marvel Legends, got into Black Series, got into Joe's, and kind of the same path Josh took there once you got the bug.
Totally. Well, that's awesome. And when I co-host, when I have folks come and join me to just geek out about whatever we saw, I tend to sort of like, oh well, they're into this, and kind of gear the show a little bit towards a little bit of their interest. But like, what part of why I love your guys' podcast is because, like me, you have this this weird insatiable need to be checking out a bunch of different things and talk. So you cover a lot of stuff, and some of the first things I saw were your Legions coverage, and it seems like you're newish to Legions collecting. Would you say in the last year? Okay.
Yeah, I am, but Josh has been in it for a while.
Yeah, I've been collecting since Aerithir Wave.
Okay.
Yeah, nice. It was a really cool story actually. They came down because I don't know if did you ever hear about Megalopolis Toys?
Oh yes.
They're like, yeah, the scammers, right? They scam everybody.
Yes.
But they had their
yes.
Yeah, they had their brick and mortar actually here in Utah, and so it was like a really cool place. Okay. And they brought down like Shardmus Prime one day, and they brought down the 4 Horsemen, like Corn Boy and all of them. Okay. And so they were there, and I like picked up figures from them, and then it kind of just I've been ever since that I've been buying. I have every single figure since.
Oh my god! Okay, so you've been in it even longer, much longer than I have. Yeah, and that's awesome, and that's expensive. So congratulations. Yeah, and then I think more recently I saw you talking about the Rising Suns wave last month, and it was the same thing because I was just geeking out. I had Action Figs on Ed, and we were doing the watch along, and then I saw your guys' coverage, and I was like, I'm just like, man, I just can't get over this. Like, I want to talk to people about this. So yeah, it was awesome to see you guys kind of do your dynamic. And anyway, I love it.
Another thing with us too is like we're both pretty artistic. And I think with action figures, you also get that artist, right? Like someone's sculpting all this work, and especially with the 4 Horsemen line, that's kind of what attracted me more to it. It's just the insane detail, the artwork, the craftsmanship that goes into it. Paint was just like, oh my god!
Yeah.
And so, as artists, we appreciate a lot of toys just for the aesthetic reasons, right?
What's your real quick? And I know but I'm just getting to know you all. And I'm excited you're here. Yeah. Talk to me about the art. What's your guys' thing? And I have an art background too, and so does my brother actually. But yeah,
nice.
I'm more like ink, so just kind of like pens, markers. I did do a little bit of graffiti as a kid, like walls and tags and stuff like that, spray work. But yeah, just always kind of been doing
writer.
Yeah, more of like stencil work, but yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and for me, yeah, it's like my number one passion. Like even more than figures, like for me, art is like first. And I just do like in high school, I just took as many art classes as I could, and even in college, right? And just watercolor, oil, acrylic, basically like every medium. I'm even doing markers and oil pastels now. Just basically all of it, basically now.
Ah, that's great. That's really cool. And yeah, I absolutely agree. Like I talk about these toys like they're, they're little works of art. I mean, just
Yeah,
like you
they
said, the
can be, man.
sculpt that goes into, the paint that goes
Yeah.
into, then the engineering side of it, right? It's
Yeah.
STEAM, right? So love it. And as I mentioned, yeah, my brother and I, my toy habits have started when we were kids, right? He's older than I am. He's 5 years older than I am. And he started us off, and I came into consciousness. I think it was like I was a year after I was born, Star Wars came out, and he'd already kind of like laid the foundation for us to have a Star Wars collection. So by the time I was aware, I was like, cool toys. And then he was
Yeah.
like, hey, well, we got to get G.I. Joe. And so fast forward, we're still in it. And so now slowly he's getting into Legions now, actually. And he was down in
Nice.
I originally grew up in LA. I'm living in San Francisco now. He's based in LA, but also in Florida. He kind of works on both coasts, but he was in LA today, went down to Designer Con, hoping to buy some stuff from Four Horsemen, and they're sold out.
Oh,
That's a bummer. Yeah. And he just did his first custom. Like he's moving faster than me in terms of actually committing to painting. He's been painting for a while, doing some dope classified customs. And so I'm just sharing this, and that's kind of why I wanted to have this little like, hey, get to know you guys, because that's definitely something that's foundational to kind of me becoming a collector, like my dynamic with my brother. And now that we're like grown-ass men, like spending really good money on toys, it's awesome to know that there's other folks have that experience too.
And honestly, like we have very similar experiences because, like,
Yeah.
I'm the older brother with me and Josh. I'm the older one, and I'm the one that's gotten more into customizing and painting before Josh has. I mean, Josh definitely has aspirations for it, but like to do it, I've always just been more like, I don't care, I just go for it.
Yeah.
And Josh likes to do a little more planning.
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Like,
He'll ruin his figures. Me, I'm like, no, I gotta be methodical.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, the fact that you say ruin your figures, like I totally get where you're coming from. All right, let's go ahead.
Like, oh well.
Let's go ahead and say hello to everyone. First off, Thanos is here. Hey, Thanos, you might have noticed that the links aren't updated on that document. That's because we're going to fly by the seat of our pants towards the second half of the show. So, but thank you so much for your help in advance. Thanos is a dope toy photographer, if y'all don't know. Nolan.
Thanks for the follow. You just subscribed to our channel, so thanks, Thanos.
Dope. Nolan is in the chat once again, as always. Dynamo Dave 2002. How's it going? Ray Black is here as well. How are you? Zio Adams, what's going on? We're gonna look at some Zio Adams stuff in a little bit. You might have known, if you're not familiar, you will be familiar after today. Some of his stuff is in the thumbnail because he understands color. AI Collectibles, good to see you. It's been a minute. Let's see. Kenzo, another talented customizer in the community. What's going on? Ray Paz.
Hey, my boy Ray, what's up?
Yeah, I was on a stream prior to this talking about Cyberzoic, and he was in the chat going, hey guys, check out Brick later. He's on with two really nice guys, the Collecting Brothers. Go check him out. I was like, dope.
Ray's dope.
Cool. Star, how's it going? Good to see you again. Allison Troy, Retro Toy Princess, my coloring guru. What's going on? Sorry. No chewing is here. What's up? Good to see you. Hey, the plastic addiction is real, and who would know more than Toy Addict? What's up? What's up, Ore? Good to see you. He was co-hosting with me last week, which was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, man, toy addiction, it's a real deal. Expensive, and it's a habit. Hold that thought, because there's going to be a little bit of Micronauts here today, Star. I can't not talk about that. All right. So, and then real quick, I'll just bring this one up. Thanos, he says, Brick, you need to do an episode with your brother at some point. I agree.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm trying to warm him up to the idea. There are there were reasons and complications, but we'll get him here someday. That's the plan. All right, so let's go ahead and actually start talking toys a little bit. There's a lot to talk about. And logistically though, I always sort of do this thing where I want to give people the links, because at the end of the day, my interest is really for you to go and check this stuff out for yourself, not just hear us chatter on about them. So I put together this list of links, and maybe to give you, I put together this list of links, and the QR code's there, and the URL is on the bottom right. It's sort of scrolling around. So if you're catching this now in the replay, actually, if you're catching this now, Thanos will be dropping the links in, and whenever he can't, I will put them in. And then in the replay, you can just go to that URL, bit.ly/brick something news, capital B, capital S, capital news, BS news. And you can follow along. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Brick. Here we go. So to give you a sense, let's see. Here, we'll peek behind the curtain. This is kind of the document that I sort of run the show by, sort of. And so it's kind of full. These are updated links up until a point. So we'll get there. So let's go ahead and start here. This is something that Jorge and I didn't get a chance to talk to last week. It came out a while ago. Like I said, if you're looking for real news, you probably don't want to be here. There's lots of great channels that do that. In fact, you can check out the Collecting Brothers, because they're really up on it in terms of the stuff that's coming out. But
every week.
Yep, weekly. What day?
Saturdays.
Weekly Saturdays. Okay. And yeah, that's right. That was yesterday. So I haven't had a chance to talk about it on the channel. And I know you mentioned it as well. So this is the 112 Red Sonja from Boss Fight Studio. And yeah, what did you all think when you saw this?
Man, honestly, like impressed. I think Epic Hacks usually does those little skeleton ones, but so excited that they're jumping into the 12-inch line. But very impressed with this female figure, man.
Yeah, the double elbows, the double knees, and just exciting to get like a new 1/12 player and some like to push like the envelope, right? Because they've always done those Vitruvian hacks, which have been like 3 3/4 inch, and they've always been like phenomenal detail, phenomenal sculpt. But if you're not a 3 3/4 inch collector, it might not be for you. But here they're jumping into this 1/12, and it's looking amazing.
I agree, and I'm not trying to be weird with a male gaze or anything right now, but yeah. So like, trust, I'm zooming in for reasons, because you mentioned the double elbows and the double knees, which I love. There are pins, but I don't really trip too much. But just pushing the engineering. We were talking a little bit earlier just about like what we used to collect and where we're collecting now. So we've seen like the action figure game change, right? And we've seen new developments in technology. Yeah. And being able to see these figures like adding this articulation that might not be offered in similar offerings is I forget. So there is a loose collector Red Sonja at 112. Do either of you have that or familiar with that? Okay.
No.
So I'm not either. So I can't speak to whether or not they have double elbows or knees, but there's definitely like an aesthetic difference. And I really, they're both great, but there's something about at least what's shown here in the renders that I really love in the sculpt. I love the 3 different heads. There's the amount of deco I think is great. All the different
the options, man.
Like
that harkens to the Mythic Legions line, right? Where you can pop and swap, change different things, get different looks from the same figure.
Yep, speaking my language. And the and just the sheer amount of like, I don't know, I just look at, like you said, options, but the little details like, oh, that cool, let's give her that garment underneath, or like the action pose face here is just really, really cool. I'm hoping, speaking of Mythic Legions, I didn't prep this, but speaking of Mythic Legions, I do hope these work with those, because that tends to be a predominant thing on my shelf, as are like Masterverse, which tend to be bigger, and like AWOC. The Epic Hacks, well, let's go ahead and actually take a look. So here's their Epic Hacks offerings so far. And as you mentioned, they've just done the in the 112 scale, they've only done their skeletons, which people are getting
Right.
in hand. And they do tend to run on the smaller side of 112.
Okay.
But I mean, they're also skeletons, so I don't know what the difference is going to be, compared to like a flesh and bone figure like Sonya. But I mean, I've seen these next to each other. Like I said, I didn't prep it. But Dorclair
Our
and
boy Bill.
yeah, Bill and Jared Toybro both do really a great job. And I'll put those in the links after the fact for the replay, folks, so you can go to those videos. But they do a great job of doing size comparisons. And so they had some of those skeletons next to them, and they do look a little
Okay.
small.
Yeah. Okay.
But next to a Mezco, which like I'm sure a lot of people want to put this next to their Mezco Conan, looks perfect. So it just depends. I don't know. Is that a thing that trips you guys up at all, putting figures next to each other?
It does for me a lot. Like it's a really big thing with me, especially because you're right. There is like this true 6-inch, and then there's like AWOC and Mythic Legions, which are like a 6.5-inch. They're not like a 7-inch scale, but they're 6.5.
Yep.
And I even get tripped out by 7-inch. Like I wish even McFarlane Toys would do 6-inch,
Yeah.
Like it does bug me sometimes. But at least, like you said, it's either gonna be good with your Mythic or it's gonna be good with your Mezco Conan. Either way, right?
Mm-hmm. And you can fudge it. There's small people, there's big people, there's really tall people. Like it's just when they get like almost like really teeny tiny but it's $50 available now. Again, and part of the reason we're talking about this is because, as you mentioned, their Vitruvian facts are hacks, are smaller figures, and that's kind of what they've been doing. So the only 112 that we've seen them do are those skeletons. So I guess it kind of remains to be seen.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with them.
Yeah. We've been talking a lot about Kickstarters here in Brick Something land lately, and because there's just been a slew of them. And I did want to just show one, because this is one that I know just this weekend kind of tried to make a big showing at DCon. And I love to especially highlight folks who are really making a go at it. And so this is the Siege Fortress Iron Berserker. And I know y'all have like kaiju Japanese toy backgrounds and interests as well, yeah?
Yeah, for sure. I do.
Cool. So when I saw this, I was like, this is totally that I don't know, that tokusatsu, I swear that was a thing that I saw, but it really isn't. This is a brand new design. But you so Armando, or he goes by Mondo too, which is fun. Totally doing this to be original but retro style robot art toy. And I appreciate when people make a go of it. And if I know there's a market out there. It's just finding those people. So whatever little thing I can do to kind of give folks a little shine and attention on this little platform, I try to. I don't know. Was this at all something by any chance? I'm not expecting it, but something that was on your guys' radar?
Haven't heard about this one.
That's awesome that you do that, because that's something like me and John have been talking about. Is we hope that this is kind of where the hobby moves to, is like actual artists and just creators making their own toys. Like less purchasing from like Hasbro and Mattel, like the big guys, and just like supporting these little Kickstarters. I try to support as many Kickstarters as I can. I love when they try to do these things.
Yeah, me too. I'm of similar ilk. This is Armando Mondo Roque. Excuse me, been under the weather, aka Dreams of Robots over on Instagram. But just I look at this design, like these fingers are totally giving me my Shogun Mazinger Z vibes, giant axe, but still just his own thing. And so he's worked with other companies before, Spin Masters. I think he said he did stuff for Hasbro as well, if I'm remembering that.
Wow.
If not. But this is his thing, right? And so starting from sketches, and this is what I love too, is that we get to see this stuff now, right?
The process,
yeah, and oh man, it's super inspiring. I'm sure hearing about your art background, this has to get you the way it got me. Oh, so cool to see this, right? From idea to paper to toy.
I mean, as artists, who hasn't drawn a robot? And how cool would it be to actually they produce it. I think the Four Horsemen did that with that Scourge guy, right? Like he was a drawing originally, and then full figure. Man, like that's so cool to see your drawings in 3D.
Oh, is it the Scourge? Are you talking about like the purple big guy?
Yeah, the
Is that
purple
what
big
you?
guy. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I forget his name,
Yeah.
but Scourge I think is the lizard. But yeah, like that was from his childhood sketches. Yeah,
Yeah.
so cool. But yeah, so like Mondo's doing it. Sorry, to be clear, it's Mondo or Mondo, but not Mondo Toys. But you know, it's cool. Like, and you get to see this whole process, and it's definitely, you know, it's again like the vintage style Japanese Sofubi soft vinyl toys. You know, the link is gonna be in the to the Kickstarter is gonna be in those links eventually at the replay, and I think Thanos probably dropped it in already. Thank you, Thanos. Just saw that. And yeah, and you know, you can follow him on Instagram at Dreams of Robots. But I just wanted to show this because he was there this weekend. They're wrapping up the show right now down in LA. And so this was his booth, and just really trying to, you know, do the hustle and let people know, let folks know,
get
right?
out there. Yeah.
And there's like different size versions of him too that like he's been, you know, printing out stuff and selling them as like in this total retro
Blister
cardback.
cards.
So
Yeah. I
some
think
laser
Decon is
cut.
perfect place for him to like get an audience, because those people there are already looking potentially at vinyl figures. There's a lot of it's like the Funko Pop of kind of the designer con stuff. But no, yeah, this is cool.
No, absolutely. Yeah, the designer con thing is definitely very much like home, a good home for the art toy and the artists and designers, hence the decon thing, which, you know, sadly, they are moving from actually, let's jump there. Let's talk decon real quick. They are jumping ship from Anaheim. They started in Pasadena, which is where I went a long time ago, Pasadena, California. Small decon, and then they grew in Pasadena, and then eventually they moved to Anaheim, and this is the last year in Anaheim. They're moving to Vegas.
Oh, wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah, so 2024 will be in Vegas, which is odd because again, they've been in the LA Orange County area for so long that a lot of the vendors and the artists
true.
are there. So I'm hoping they'll be willing to, like, you know, it's not too far, but it's still a ways to get out to Vegas.
Yeah, it's a move, but then, like, if you think about it, it might be closer to some people, and they're like, "Hey, now I can make the trip." Because, like, for me and John, we're out in Utah. I feel like that's definitely doable. Even like by car, we should definitely go. Yeah.
There you go. Congratulations to you. No. All right. So, since we're at decon, and then I'll jump back to some of the earlier things. This is In Pursuit of Toys, who I reached out to, and they were like, "Yeah, please go ahead and share this stuff." And I'm grateful that they were willing to let me do that. Check out In Pursuit of Toys. And you know, there was a ton of stuff. They are fantastic and great coverage, but there's a ton of stuff at decon. So I don't really want to there's so many things to talk about. So we'll kind of quickly run through some of it. Is there anything in particular that jumps to you, or otherwise I
think those kind of military figures with the gas mask, the one right there, those ones piqued my interest when I saw those.
Mortal Ruin, Hand Candy Toys, Mortal Ruin. Was this something that you're looking at before, or is this decon appearance one of the first?
I think it was the decon experience from Pursuit of Toys.
Yeah, exactly. I literally saw it from
you mean this year? Oh, gotcha. Because they shared some stuff at decon a little bit ago. I want to say pre-pandemic, maybe. And then they kind of, you know, with lockdown and everything, they were still working on things, and it kind of was my understanding. This is all based on so rewind for a second. So Mortal Ruin, which I'll jump to here, is Hand Candy Toys LLC, and this was them at decon on Friday. And so they were there showing off their things, but let's see. So I wasn't sure. I thought it was just these two guys, but I was so I don't know if you all are familiar with Toy Migos at all. I was like, I'm a huge fan and was totally fanboying.
Nice.
But I was able to be on Chat Migos on Tuesday, which was awesome and huge. I
That
was
is cool,
super
yeah.
stoked to be on. But this is Adam and Beardy here. Adam's part of Toy Migos, and both of them together work for Gentle Giant, and who've done a lot of like design and
nice.
prototyping stuff for a lot of the
Yeah.
toys that we don't even realize.
Okay.
But they do that work, whether it's painting and sculpting. They each kind of do their separate piece there, and it's always weird because they're hired by these companies to design these things, so you don't necessarily know, right, who the folks are who are actually working on these things. But they are I don't want to misname some of the things. I've heard things and them talk about things, but I don't want to attribute things to them mistakenly. But I just know that some of the HasLabs, for example, are things that they've worked on. So like I say that all and I share that all because they have a pedigree in this stuff. Like they've been working on this stuff for a while. And there's other lines that I think Adam has shown that he's worked on. Super talented, hilarious guy. And then this is David Vonner, and I'm so bummed that I'm trying to remember, but his name escapes me. But this is listed on the Mortal Ruins site as a squad building. So I don't know if like Vonner and oh god, I'm so sorry, homie. But if they're all involved in this or not, because I've only heard Adam and Beardy talk about it. But I share that all because like Vonner's got like a deep background in Marvel Legends, and more recently was working on with Shartimus on Odious. No, on oh my god, sorry, Unparalleled.
With Unparalleled.
Street Humans. No, it was with Shartimus and Street Humans.
Okay.
But
okay.
I mixed them up.
Yeah.
Not sorry, Wade. But so like these folks know what they're doing, and it shows. Like, so when you said these caught your eye, what was it about these and the decon coverage that caught your eye? Was it
for me, that guy in the black is just giving me some Punisher, Netflix, Frankie Reynolds or Frankie John Bernthal vibes, man.
And I think and that makes a lot of sense. I didn't know that background with Mortal Ruin, but with them having that experience with Legends, and it's just something I'm familiar with, and so I like to see that it has similar articulation schemes, so I know what to expect. There's butterflies I can see, and it's going to be. It looks like that true 6-inch. So this can fudge in with your Joes or any line that you wish.
Yep. And have you been able to see any of the sort of, well, here, I don't know if you've gone in like through their IG because they show a lot of it there, but you can see here right away, right? That's some posing that not a lot, even one of our favorite toy lines in Mythic Legions can't necessarily hit until Valiant Night,
double.
Right?
The double.
Holding
it in front of you. Yeah, that's impressive. And honestly, like you feel like there's no ab crunch there, but with that body armor, but they have a ball underneath there, right? That's what I'm assuming it looks like.
Yeah, and we can take a look at that. And and you see some of the painted prototypes. It's this cool, like, I don't totally know the story, like a post-apocalyptic thing going on. But they definitely like look cool. Just on first blush, I'm like, oh, those, as far as the sort of genres that I look at. Intriguing, but here you see sort of there's the butterfly in there, but like I love how you good, Josh? Well, okay. It doesn't break the sculpt, right? I mean, I'm sure you can push it to its edge, but you see the sort of continuity here of that silhouette, just gorgeous. And then let's see.
Yeah, that's impressive.
You can see it a little bit more here, how far that butterfly will go into that shoulder. And then you were wondering about the, I don't totally know if it's two bells or a ball. I'm assuming a ball, but you can see some of the movement here. And it's just got a lot of personality too. I'm like looking at that, like.
They're crushing it with the baggy clothes too. Like the way that clothes is laying, the sculpt on that looks.
That's right.
Good.
Yep. They got their toe.
On the toe, nice.
Yeah. Look at that here. So it's exciting. Like, truth be, I don't know. I might have to grab one of these like to play with, or maybe more. I don't know. Look at the splits.
Yeah. Wow.
But like, I've got kind of an aesthetic for my main collection, and so it tends to be like this science fantasy. So there's a lot of like people, half naked people with laser guns, basically. So like I guess I could fudge some of these guys in, but it's less on the military side, right? But
Right, yeah.
but yeah, I still, even though I looking at these things and they're amazing, and I don't know.
There's some work that's been put into this and some like really good tooling for sure.
Yeah, a lot of, yeah, and they're bringing all their experience into this, and here
Yeah.
you can see like just some of the poses. And anyway, Mortal Ruin, like I said, didn't want to spend too much time on decon, but like, why not? Look at this stuff.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm definitely backing like as much as I can get at those. This look just cool, and like we said, just to support Kickstarters and like small creators too.
Yep. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm glad that they were able to make another big push here at this decon. That's awesome. Let's you were sharing some artists before we started. Let's go ahead and take a look at those. You're saying that at decon, right?
Well, as everyone like knows, like Mondo Art, like their poster site is kind of closed down, which is kind of sucks because they kind of do what you do, where they got all these artists, get them to do like a movie poster, and then you could, if you really like the artist's work or aesthetic, you could follow them and support them that way. But with that gone, Spoke Art's kind of been filling in that gap, and they had a couple of releases here. Exclusive to DesignerCon. That Gundam right here by Rory Kurtz, just so beautiful, man. Like adding the seagulls for scale is, I don't know, man. That's what they Guillermo did that in Pacific Rim, right? Just add big things, make them small, or small things big. I don't know, just creates such good scaling there.
Good shout out. That totally makes sense in terms of the scale, and I love this. Love the style, and it almost has a little bit of a retro like 80s vibe of that Gundam, but with this sleekness that I don't know, I dig it.
Yeah, it's like there's like an added grain, almost like a VHS kind of grainy, so it gets that oldies like 80s
there.
vibe. Yeah,
you're absolutely right. It's totally in there. And then there was the other artist, right? That was
you'll have to go. They kind of teased it there with one of the
they
tree
tease
spirits
it here.
there.
Okay,
but it was revealed fully with Graham Yarrington. Really great watercolor artist. Does murals too, but he got to do a Princess Mononoke post, man. Gorgeous. Dear God, man, just beautiful like color choice and everything you want there. You got the masks, you have everyone.
Yep.
Just beautiful, man. I love this guy's work, and shout out to Graham. He's been doing it for a while and kind of been getting some bigger deals too. I think he recently worked on Grizzly Bears, or I don't know, some Minus the Bear album or concert poster, but really cool to see like an artist. So I can't remember exactly. It's something with Bear.
I was gonna say, is Minus the Bear still together? Minus the Bear, their original guitarist or keyboardist. Sorry. Anyway, sorry, whole other life. But he engineered my band's last record. But
nice.
Yeah. But I'm intrigued. Sorry, and that was specifically for Punk with Toys. What's up, Lauren? Since he was asking about the music talk. There you go. Okay, sorry. Back to this.
But yeah, these are just kind of two things there, and they are exclusive to Decon, but Spoke Art is going to make them available, whatever they have left, once the show's over. So probably now, if not tomorrow.
Oh God, Mononoke is like, it's just wonderful. It's a great story, and this is kind of like if they made toys of this, these would totally go on my shelf easily. Again, it's like this. Anything that looks like feudal barbarian, like weird mix with laser guns too, that can all work. Awesome. And a lot of that is because I was inundated as a child by this toy line and property called Masters of the Universe that said, you know what, laser guns and barbarians, duh. And so the Mondo booth, man, they were just straight up like just showing it all off. And Hedgehog, right? Disco Skeleton. And this actually went up a little bit ago, and my understanding is that it was sold out. So they were showing it here and just being like, no, because they did sell out. I think it was like 1,000 or so, and my understanding is they sold out in about 5 hours, which is fun because it's totally this like obscure-ish variant of Skeletor, right? 2000X variant that Four Horsemen worked on once upon a time. But anyway, I think it's cool looking. Are you guys Motu heads at all? Is that a thing?
We are not.
Okay.
I mean, we picked up a couple of the Mattel, recent Masters of the Universe line figures, but besides that, no.
Okay.
Yeah, we kind of missed the TV show He-Man. We missed the toys. I feel like.
But then we also appreciate, when the Horsemen do like their tribute figures. Those are always nice and cool, just to see which characters they do.
Absolutely. Well, then buckle up, because I'm gonna get Motu nerdy for a second. And real quick, let me shout out some newer folks that jumped in while I started. Hey, what's up, Miss Jessam? What's going on? One of the talented people behind C Jessam and the awesome soft goods that we all love, with a bunch of different figures, but especially now Mythic and Cosmic Legions and figure.
Oh wow, yeah, thank you.
Yep. And that's also, if you haven't already, go check out on YouTube the Legions Ladies podcast. Miss Jessam's now a part of that crew, which is dope. And back to our show, Scareglow. And I'll go quick. I know, it sounds like I don't want to waste too much time, but Mondo is just going hard with their Masters of the Universe license. They this is like a jumbo figure, limited articulation, 5P, maybe a little more than 5, because I think this is like the old Motu thing. But there's a skeleton inside this clear plastic thing.
That's cool. That's cool.
A fully sculpted skeleton in that, and it glows in the dark, because that's what the character does. Scareglow.
Nice.
And I'm just gonna keep going, and we're just gonna look at some stuff. Here is Tila, which is this is the first look that we've had at this 1/6, which I can't do. Do you do 1/6 at all?
I don't.
I do the Hot Toys Star Wars 1/6 just because it's Star Wars, though. But if it weren't Star Wars, I'll collect anything that's Star Wars.
More power to you. No, they're fantastic. I think that they're amazing. But and they're doing some amazing stuff in the 1/6 space with this Masters of the Universe, man. They're really just like, for my money, this is like, I think, then this might seem weird to people, but I think these are the best versions of these characters that have ever been done. Because it's, I really do, because they're working larger, so they can get a lot more in terms of the sculpt in, but they're taking classic elements of the characters with sort of newer ideas and mashing them up. And then in many cases, you can mix and match accessories to make a version that you're familiar with, or go with their newer stuff. So,
it is always great when that line is walked, right? Where you take in the old or bring in new and just create something. I think agree that can be the best.
Yeah, exactly. Even their original He-Man Battle Cat, man, that thing was just phenomenal. The Battle Cat was executed. I don't know how they did it, but it just looked so realistic, but also still had those cartoonish elements to him.
Yep. Just fantastic. And let's see. Hey, Ray, I think this might have been for Mortal Ruin. My bad. And we jumped, but you get it. And is there a backstory, Ray? There is. If you go to mortalruin.com, they tease it a little bit. You should check it out. Oh, and Thanos has already got you for that. Okay. Back to, let's see. And again, I do want to go quick because we got stuff to do, but plus.
That looks good, man.
Yeah, this was Orko. Yeah. This was the character that a lot of people weren't into, a lot of people love. But I remember because he was kind of that comic relief.
Yeah, he's the Jar Jar. He's the Jar Jar.
Kind of, yeah. And so, you can see here from his little stuffed animal and his little buddies, like there's a cuteness factor, which I actually think was a really kind of great balance. Not that like Filmation He-Man was like the most adult, like intense action thing anyways, guys. But again, like to what I was saying, like you've got the kind of classic pieces that you can kind of work in. This is a big deal for Motu fans. This is the first time that we're getting to see a unshadowed Trollin head or face.
Oh wow!
In an action figure, they're usually like like this. He's usually like
a Jawa,
pandemic style over here.
It's like the first time when we saw the bottom half of Max Rebo when they made the figure.
And that is officially canon. It is. Sorry. Anyways, that's a totally geeky thing. But yes. Anyway, I love this. I love the kind of take that they had on Arco. Did I do Tila twice? Let's see. Like I said, I was Russian. Let's see. Oh yeah, I did Tila twice. You know why? Because she's just that
That good.
powerful.
That-
Let's see. Mondo Gecko. Haha,
This
Mondo.
looked interesting.
Yeah, they're doing these TMNT vinyl figures,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
really cool, especially when they get to play with the what's the word? The proportions.
Right. Yeah, they can chibi them out. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I love it. And the sculpt, of course, is it's Mondo. I wonder who worked on these. Yeah. And
These
so
got
they're doing a series of Ninja Turtle soft vinyl stuff that's just really, really cool. And again, thank you In Pursuit of Toys for the awesome coverage. So cool. Sorry, and this thing, but anyway. Man, if I could just, win the lottery or something.
You just had unlimited money.
Yeah. And we got Michael.
And unlimited space. You got to have unlimited money and
That's
unlimited
true.
space.
That's true. Spaces, hard to come by here in the Bay. Just cool. A lot of personality, right? They're always kind of working in the classic elements that we know with like their own artistic flair. So
Yeah.
I dig it. I love Designer Con, man. It really is that sort of, I don't even know what I'm doing there. It's really like this blend of like art culture, geeky graphic design stuff. And then, indie comics, and then action figures and toys and clothing.
Yeah.
So, and they showed this Rogue off, with this, I think it's an online exclusive platform, Sentinel head, which looks amazing. Apparently she's going to have multiple heads, including one that's from the X-Men cartoon, which, full disclosure, I'm not a fan of. But there was a scene where she gets Scott Summers' Cyclops power and is shooting uncontrollably. And they made a head of that, which was amazing. I think they said 6.
Wow.
I heard that right from Mad Hatter's coverage. They might have said there's 6 different heads.
Dang.
They'll probably do like the half Mystique Rogue head, Cyclops head.
Yeah, and he was joking. He's like, why not 7? And he's like, yeah, we tried to keep looking for some, but I think that's what they found as far as like variants. But she's looking great, and she's got that total 90s Rogue big hair. There's one cover in particular that Art Adams did that was just ridiculously huge. But yeah, so there's that. And there's a couple of other X-Men things. That's like fully articulated, like the Motu ones. But then there's also their
I sent this to Josh here, and I was like, "This is Juggernaut's true form. If you ever have a Juggernaut, if he's not built this way, I don't want him."
that Sidorak, man. What is it? The Crystal of Sidorak or whatever it is.
Yeah, the amulet or the book or something.
Yeah, it was going extra hard over here. Because. And I remember in the comics, there was a time when Peter Rasputin
oh, nice.
had it. So they were like, yeah, well, let's go. I love it, man. Mondo yeah, man, they get geekiness, they get fandom, they get the art thing, and it kind of just all
material.
Yeah, it's really good, man. So Mondo had a good showing. And we did the Mortal Ruin. Let's see. And I think that was it for Decon.
Cool.
Yep. Any last minute things about Decon that you wanted to?
I'm excited about the move to Vegas because, like Josh said, it might open it up to us. Like we could probably get out there a little bit better than California.
Yep.
So we'll see.
And they have like a lot of good like venues, because that's like what Vegas is primarily used for, and they've like
probably
really good spaces
cheaper too.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. It's been a while. Maybe I'll go to a Vegas one. Why not? I haven't been to Vegas in
we'll meet you there.
In decades, actually. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about this O-ring resurgence, man. Because we're seeing Super 7, right? Last week or so was like, hey, we're doing O-ring figures. And excuse me. I've got Buddy Toy Connections and Steve who are working on D17, which is a new O-ring 3.75 military line. There's all sorts of like new lines or a couple Kickstarters. And so got brought up that one of the earliest and one of my favorite O-ring lines back in the day was this thing called Microman or Micronauts. I knew it as Micronauts here in the States. Didn't realize they were Microman before then. Is that something that's at all on your radar? I know it sounds like you guys are maybe a lot younger than me.
Yeah, I was born in 91.
Okay,
I'm in my 30s. And so,
perfect.
Yeah, Microman, not familiar with this.
Cool. And for the record, I was a freshman in high school in 91. All right. So all good. Yeah, Micronauts was this old toy back in the 70s, actually. So it was even like before I was born, I believe, and then kind of grew maybe like right around when I was a baby. And so this was like the era where there were like an oil crisis, and so they had to shrink the use of plastic. So Hasbro went from being a 12-inch doll to a 3.75-inch line later. And the original toy that Takara of Transformers fame, they created this thing called oh my God, there was a Cyborg Man. There was another one that I'm totally blanking on. And they shrank down too because of similar reasons, right? And so what if that was the gimmick? What if these are microscopic people that lived in this tiny world that then would like hide in plain sight among us, which later led to another line that was called, oh my God, I'm tripping out. It's a Diaclone. Oh, I'm messing this up. There's Microman, there's Diaclone, both by Takara. And so with Microman, he would be in our little world and there would be things like cassette players, guns that would transform into robots. Sound familiar?
Yeah. Soundwave, Shockwave, yeah.
Yeah, those are the original. The toys that became
Really?
Transformers actually have this lineage leading back to the Microman toys and the Diaclone toys. And so they took them from these two different things, Hasbro did, and brought them to the United States and turned them into this new line, Robots in Disguise, which is if you've ever wondered why is there a giant gun toy?
That's true.
With
why is Megatron a giant gun?
Toy? Yeah, they were two completely different lines. And Megatron came from the line that went with what eventually became Micronauts. And I'm totally like being old man here telling you the story, but let me also just share this one other thing. Ant-Man went to the, what do they call him? Quantumverse, right?
Quantum
in
Realm.
the MCU, which in the comic books was called the Microverse, which is where the Micronauts lived. That in actually Marvel Comics. So this is all kind of okay. All of that, I'm doing that for a reason because this is from Abe Froman. He goes by Abe Froman or Fanagan Collectibles. This was his quote. Amazing how Microman and the company that made them have influenced a world that for the most part forgot them. And it's like, when I tell you that, and it's like, yeah, a lot of folks don't realize, wait, what is this Micronauts thing that became Transformers and then actually had an influence on G.I. Joe? I kind of left that part out. And was actually one of the hottest selling toys before this thing Star Wars came out. And so since you're Mythic Legions fans, and I know part of why you're interested in it is the pop and swap. Like that was what Microman and Micronauts were all about. You could take parts apart. They had interchangeable parts, all that stuff now in Cosmic Legions with a peg, right? For the accessories.
Right.
Yeah. That was a thing that Micronauts was doing back in the day. And it was a standard 5mm port that you could like put all these toys together. Yeah. And all of that's to underscore. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that. Thank you for sharing that. Cause like, we did not know that. And like, this quote does hit a lot harder of like, completely forgotten, right? They started it, they originated it. Usually the OGs are the ones who get the most credit. But these Micronauts were completely forgotten.
Yep. And so thank you, because that's exactly what I was trying to do with that. I wasn't just trying to be the old man on the hill. But when I met Fanagan and we were talking, we were geeking because like, oh my God, someone remembers Micronauts. And so he's been on this mission. Oh, can I also throw in there a little bit of shade? Because you know how sometimes people own these old properties and you want them to do something with it and they're just sitting on it. And well, there's a company called Hasbro that has the Micronauts license. Okay, anyways, moving on. So Fanagan has been sort of on this personal mission, man. Like I said, he rides hard for Microman and Micronauts. He's been on this personal mission to try and like get something done with this line. And so him and his son actually have been doing 3D printing and sculpting and kind of like creating their own figures, highly inspired by Micronauts. And so I'll show you those. Like, well, I've shown those before, so I probably won't spend too much time on those. They're like 112, bigger, like newer things, right? And they're playing with the articulation, always like just experimenting and prototyping. And so you can check him out on Fanigan Collectibles and see all that. But more recently, because of the O-ring resurgence and conversation, he's like, well, there was a line that kind of helped start the whole O-ring thing. What if I just went back and experimented with that? So he went and got a bunch of O-rings and all the parts that he needed to go ahead and actually just start doing O-ring new versions of these Micronauts, right? And again, process, which I love, just printing and planning and like
designing,
and then getting to like,
wow,
it just blows me away to think these folks can just like sit there on the computers and now, like before, you do this and maybe send it off. Now they're just the rapid prototype and print and tweak and adjust and fiddle. And so it's interesting to me now he's like coming back to the O-ring thing, which is fun. It's just cool to see. And these are like those 5mm ports that I was talking about.
Looking at this figure right now, like I'm having this faint recollection as a kid of
me too. I don't know.
Just like not necessarily I bought, but like just was
you've seen him.
I'm sure you've seen him. I'll just say, imagine
like a friend had him or something
with a chrome head, with a metallic vac metal head, and that's what all these figures are about. And a lot of them were like sort of see-through plastic, sci-fi 70s goodness. And this is what the complete sort of prototype looked like. Again, shifted a little bit, or actually here, this is Beta Ray Bob, who's also a big Micronauts fan, but that's similar to what they look like. But
yeah, that's impressive that they got this. They literally recreated their old toy.
Yep. And so I'm curious who here I'm looking at. Sorry, I kind of skipped around. Sorry, didn't mean to miss you all. Let's see. Chat. Good. Ray's old like me. Pension Cyborg. Thank you, Rick. You're the man. And the fellow Bay Area folk here. Yes, that was the bigger line of Micron that shrank down. Yep. And so thank you, Star. See that I knew it, and I hope I didn't get anything wrong. Star will definitely correct me. He knows what's up. See, he's all about it. Yes, Gianna Croyer had its arms turned into 2 smaller robots. Thank you very much. And Palisades did do it briefly. That was a little bit of a weird mess that they got into, but here someone was wondering, you can't have the heroes without the villains. So, and this may not mean much to you all, and I'm sure a little bit of this is like a little retro pastiche, kind of like, oh, that's kind of quaint because we're used to like 112 and
yeah.
So, but this is this is what gave Star a moment, because this is an updated Membros when they started moving into like cool alien creatures. And again, like these things would pop off here that you can like turn into guns and put them on robots and other figures. This thing had a removable plastic translucent brain. And yeah, I like Fanigan, dreaming like in this new, era of toys and with all the indies and stuff, man. Like, hey, why wouldn't someone like bring this back, man? But
yeah, because you can't, like, the audience wasn't that small, like clearly it had an influence. So where are they? Where are they?
It did. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Well, that was the moment for Micronauts, and thank you, Fanigan. Like, seriously, Fanigan rides hard for the Micronauts. If you're into the Micronauts and you haven't checked him out, please add him. And again, you can do that at that QR code that I showed earlier. But let's move on. Brutal Realm. Is this at all on your guys' radar?
It is not, but I do like those swords.
I love it.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one.
Okay. So there's not much coming out, just like things being teased about this new line by Brutal Rem. And I shared them before. This is a new figure that they shared, the more sort of like progressed prototype form or concept art, but you can see there's like cuts in there. So I just wanted to share this because I haven't shared it in the past. But since you haven't, I'm gonna do a little bit of just a quick pass, and you can kind of see that it's definitely got like that's like Motu had the big bulky bodies. They've got their own sort of big bulky style. But what I appreciated when I shared this the first time was that they were like digging into they were looking for inspiration in cultures and peoples and like, you know, heroes and stories that haven't necessarily been covered a lot, right? So yes, we've seen barbarians, and this one's a little bit different, like a, you know, sort of a Sumerian, Uruk the Sumerian. So it's kind of cool to me too when people are taking fantasy but then mixing in real world elements, especially ones that like we just don't see much of.
Right.
Like we get the, you know, the Viking Norse kind of thing, we get the barbarian thing, we get the knights thing, right? And then hell yeah, like why have we been deprived of like African Yoruba like warriors and culture for like this, like, man, where was that when I was a kid? So I'm excited.
Native Americans too, man, like some Apache characters.
Come again? What was that?
Some like it's just like Apaches. And,
no, he's just saying he has it.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Exactly.
No, 100%. Now again, I'm not like, I don't know which specific peoples they're like going after, and it's weird. It's that fine line of like you want to pay homage and you want to bring attention to and represent, but you also don't want to like, you know, oversimplify and be crass about it. But on the face of it, I appreciate that they are trying. This is like they're saying this is from the Wakinian tribe. So again, I don't know to what extent they're actually doing their research on this stuff, but I just appreciate that they're trying. Again, you know, like sure, we got a jitsu here and there and a quick kick here and there, but come on, man. Nice to see a Khan, right? Like a Mongol kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
like me and Josh are Peruvian, so I'd love to see if they did like an Inti warrior, some like Incan warriors, man. Yeah, that'd be sick, dude.
Yeah, man. Anyway, that was more the time than I wanted to spend on it, but yeah, I'm happy to introduce folks to some new things. Let's go with the big boys for a little bit. And I just realized this isn't as big as it can be. Hi. So thank you to Geek Dead Life, homies over there, for their coverage of this. So it sounds like you're collecting Legends, right? At least Josh, did I hear you say that?
Yeah, we collect Legends, Black Series, a lot of the Hasbro stuff. I mean, if you're into it, you're into it. And I don't know, Hasbro's just so big, so
yeah, let me ask you how about that live stream the other day?
I'm a big X-Men fan, and unlike you, I grew up on the '97 or the '90s X-Men animated shows, so like, I love it, and that got me like my first book that I read was an X-Men book, and I loved what Jonathan Hickman was doing with the new X-Men, and so X-Men's like my main bread and butter when it comes to Marvel Legends.
Okay. And I didn't mean to be the host that was like making you uncomfortable at home. About something you love. What a jerk! My bad.
But yeah, no, I think it was a good stream. I think some solid reveals. I'm excited for some of these figures, and there's one. If you watched our episode yesterday, I just completely swooned over one of these reveals, man. Okay.
Well, let's re-swoon because they revealed a lot, and for me, even though a lot of it was that cartoon, I will say that the sort of continuation in the 97 series looks like it's, you know, drawing. Well, I will say that cartoon did a good job of drawing from a lot of the stories that I loved. My main issue with that was like, I was a comic reader and it just compressed everything in a way that didn't quite compute in my brain. But even then I was appreciating that, like, friends who would be like, what, you read comic books? But then they were getting into the cartoon, so they were getting an X-Men. So I was kind of like happy about that too. So I appreciated it. For that at
what
least.
It did, it got a lot of people into comics.
So I'm not going to go over everything, and this stuff was really cool, but I will say that, like, for me, like, my sweet spot is X-Men 200, Uncanny X-Men 200 to 275. So 200, the cover was a Magneto in a very similar costume to this one, in handcuffs and leg cuffs, being sort of turning himself into the Avengers for his crimes, and then later becoming the leader of the New Mutants and becoming a teacher in the school for gifted youngsters. And it looks like they're kind of maybe explore some of that in the new series. So when I saw this, I was like, it's not exactly what I love, but I was like, oh, that feels familiar. Like if you're a customizer, you could totally make that version of Magnus, and I was excited. So I'm curious, like what having not seen this new series yet, what are you thinking? Is this exciting you for like the continuation of the cartoon, or?
Yeah, I'm very excited for the continuation of cartoons. And Josh was kind of mentioning with this that the fact that you could potentially use this cape as a stand.
Right
I'm
here.
excited for that. Yeah,
that's kind of
to
cool.
get that elevated pose stand.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I love Eric Lyncher, and I mean, I don't know. I'm really excited for the next series. I'm excited for X-Men 97.
See, and that's great, and I think that's what it needs, right? I'm glad that that people are going to be excited again about and talking about X-Men, and hopefully building up to like the X-Men in the MCU. Like I love this, you know. And like I said, around 200 was kind of where this era was sort of happening, right before they bounced off to Two Lines, to the actual X-Men run by Jim Lee, X-Men #1 and stuff. So between these and of course like all of the oh my gosh, I'm blanking now, but whatever the Goblin Queen, Mr. Sinister, whatever that storyline was, where that not Executioner Song, Inferno, where you know they kind of made this thing about it in the fan stream where they're like, yeah, and some baby, we don't know who that is. I don't like, I guess because of the cartoon they didn't want to spoil it, but like, sorry folks, this is maybe I shouldn't. No, never mind. I won't be that guy. Are you familiar with this story at all? You must be.
We were making a joke since like it's that baby sculpt that we've seen a lot, right? With like Baby Hulk and Baby Nightcrawler.
Oh, sure. Oh, do you think were they making that joke?
I don't know. No, I think that's the joke we were making.
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't know if they were like laughing at themselves for reusing this baby. I'm just gonna say sorry to be a jerk. That's baby Nate Summers. And like here, I'm just gonna ruin things because I'm that guy. No, it's like we're talking decades old of comic lore.
Yeah.
So this is Madeline Pryor, the Goblin Queen, who was a clone of Jean Grey, who anyways, Mr. Sinister and his weird eugenics crap. But this baby grows up to be
X-Man, right? He grows up to be X-Man.
he in one version he's X-Man, Nate, right? And in another he's Cable, the Nathan Summers we know.
Right, that's true. That's true.
And then he gets cloned and becomes Strife. So there you go. I just spoiled. I just spoiled decades of comics for people. My bad.
What I was saying though is that I saw some people comparing this Madeline Pryor with the Engine of Fire, one that we were supposed to get, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The because of the sculpt and the clothing and stuff. Is that what the main conversation is?
Same character, just different versions, right? Where she was more unclothed than the other one. So
yeah, I don't know what they I don't know what the actual story. I heard a lot of folks say, oh yeah, they won't do it because because they don't want it to be too sexy or whatever.
Right,
I've never heard Hasbro say that. So I don't know if that's fan speculation or not. I could kind of understand it if that's where they're going, but anyway, but I think it's kind of cool. I'm assuming this is just because that's what's going to be in the cartoon, right? And
that's what I'm thinking too. Yeah.
And it is Disney Plus, so
they might be going towards that way.
I mean, they're skewing younger. It's Disney. It's part of the Disney family. Hey, speak of the devil. What's up, fan again? Love your stuff. Anyway, I love these, and I got really excited. And all of this was one of my favorite covers back in the day.
Yeah,
Lilandra was dope.
Love Lilandra.
Mm-hmm. The only other cover that I loved, more than this one, was there was one where Wolverine or Logan is crucified on a
Oh
big ol' X.
yeah. That one's so good.
Yeah.
With the X, right? It's the X
Yep.
cross.
So
So
is the X
good.
cross.
So good.
And then you got this, which is cool to finally get a saber tooth that like scale wise
Right.
and I love that he's got these, these true Wolvie Logan proportions.
Yeah.
On the stockier side. I'm really
Yeah.
into civilian figures too. Like not from my current collection, but like back in the day, I'd be so excited about this stuff. Full disclosure, my brother's the Legends collector. So I let him buy it and I just go play with his toys.
Nice.
Yeah, the Sabretooth alone though, like it's better than all the previous Sabretooths they've released just for
Yes.
I like how big they made the fur. Because usually
Mhm.
the previous version, the fur was a little smaller, but it should be that big.
Yep. Absolutely. This is like post-massacre. So good. And then they gave us this version of Psylocke, like of all things that you never know like what they're actually going to be able to get to. And there are a lot of folks like who want this, who want one
Yeah.
Psylocke, but like the multiple versions of her. And so it's kind of cool to see the hand version and like Madripoor. I don't know. What are they calling this Wolverine? Did they
I've
say?
called it like just like black suit Wolverine. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
But
But
I love it.
I think what's more interesting about this, at least as an artist side of me, is that the fact that they're pulling directly from comic covers, right? Like to do that, I think is just great. Not only does, as a toy collector who maybe potentially doesn't get into comics, you're able to then see that cover art replicated. Because like when I pose my figures, the first place I go to is like Nightcrawler comic book covers, right? Boom. And I look at all the covers, pick the best pose that I like, and then pose it, right? And so the fact that they're giving you a comic cover on the back of it and specifically creating these toys to recreate those covers, I think it's great.
This is what you're referring to, the comic book covers on the back. That was the original one where she made that appearance with Mandarin. And then this is actually new art, right, that they're doing. They got Kubert, one of the Kuberts, I forget, to draw new covers, which is cool, or new art, which is really cool. And like they gave her this awesome like evil face sculpt with
whited out eyes,
and all of that. Like I don't normally cover, Legends, like but like I was kind of blown away by this one because again it hit my like member berries. But this thing,
oh yeah, this is the one that made me swoon, man. Those wings are just gorgeous.
Yeah. And this is just one of those where it's like, it's so good, I'm going to get it. It may not fit with everything else I got. make it fit, but like, that's Warren Worthington III chilling with the Defenders. And my brother was pointing out, like, yeah, they've made every Defender now except for Gargoyle. So like, once you do that, you've got them all. Moonstar, and I don't know if they have a gray beast like that, but anyway, this is just, it's super cool. And I know I've spent too much time on this, but it sounds like you were into this too.
Yeah, I mean, finishing out a team always feels good, right? Finishing out whatever team it may be, the fact that you can get that in action figure is always best. But yeah, there's one of these pictures here that just gives it like, Renaissance artwork vibes, man. And I love that those wings are like that because Worthington is that regal, right? He's, rich boy, but just to have those beautiful big angel wings, man.
Yes, those wings, right? And you could use those in other lines.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly, yeah. And it's just surprising that like we haven't really gotten any angels like in the Marvel Legends line. It's been like going on for years now, and this is kind of like the first iteration besides that like Toys R Us 5-pack, which it didn't even really look like angel. It was the first X-Men edition. So
look at the full spread here. That's gorgeous. Like you're just waiting for that one Morlock to shove harpoons through his. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, Mutant Massacre. But anyway, that's that. Like that, and that is actually probably the most I've spent on Hasbro stuff. Not because I like hate Hasbro necessarily, but just because that's how good it was. It caught my attention.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of catching Brick's attention, there's this thing, AWOC, I'm kind of familiar with. No, I talk way too much about AWOC, but full disclosure, John, you were the one I think who was like, "Hey, let's talk about the new AWOC fig."
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you drive. Which figs were you curious about
It's that.
talking about?
So with me, like I'm more of a sci-fi cosmic sort of thing. So Mythic
Okay.
Legions, like Josh had them, I played with them, they look cool, but I was never fully into the fantasy side. But then Cosmic Legions got announced, right? And I was like, oh my god, I need those, right?
Yeah.
And so with AWOC too, it's a little more like fantasy line,
Uh-huh.
but then they did the
Uh-huh.
Void, and the Void's getting into my kind of what my interests, and so loving that just werewolf cyborg thing, man. Just I love it. I love it. Love it.
I am so happy and excited to hear that because it sounds like you don't do you not have any AWOCs, is that right?
I don't. Like you. I
No,
play
it's-
with Josh's.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's great because what I'm hearing you say is like you're interested in this figure at least because of just sheerly just the design of it, right? Is that what I'm
Right.
hearing?
Yeah. And the plastic's good. I mean, I have played with them. They're
Mhm.
Josh's, but like, so I know like what to expect from it. But to get that in my interest field is exciting.
Yeah. So I do a show called AWOC Talk here, and then over on my friend Adam Highly Articulated's channel. And so we talk about these all the time, and we've had the I don't know privilege of being able to talk with like Jason and
Oh,
the other
really
folks behind
nice.
the line. And we were just the most recent episode of AWOC Talk. Monkey Business, AWOC Talk Live on Highly Articulated. We talked about this figure in particular, and I know even the lead up to this, I was like super lucky to be even to see like the paint masters and the sort of the design process and progress of this figure before they revealed it at LegionsCon. And so like in talking with Jason about it and then Adam about it, I was like, yo, this is going to be one of those like Thane, the big old gorilla, that I think is going to capture people's attention, even if they're
Yeah.
not into AWOC. And like, I'm so like, it's great to know that actually did happen for some people.
Yeah, it happened for me.
It's a cool design. It's so different. And, just like, it's this weird, like, cyberpunk mixed with with a werewolf, and
yeah,
that's awesome.
it's cool. That's cool.
Did you?
Yeah, it's
you
cool.
guys went to LegionsCon or no?
No,
Okay.
I wish.
Yeah,
Sorry, I interrupted you, Josh. What were you saying?
Plans.
I was just gonna say, it's just cool to see Jason getting out new molds, right? Because a lot of he's reusing the Thane for that gray gorilla and a lot of the base bodies because like they're all pop and swappable, which is a good thing. But it's cool now to finally get kind of an in between, like a pale mold and a Thane mold. It's like an in between.
Yep. Yeah. So it is. It is a brand new mold. It's like and there's a couple of figures that are kind of loosely based on this size, but of course you can tell right away that this is not reusing a whole lot of parts because of the nature of this figure and this character design. Here, let's do this. So just to tie it back to some of the other figures, since you're talking about molds, where is it? Oops. Oh, you know what? I know where we can look at it. So here, I'll bring up our episode 1957. So here's us talking about oops, let me do this, about the Void. And so that was awesome, huge news, and he kind of broke down, and definitely go check this out on Highly Articulated's channel. But at PowerCon, before the Void, right?
Yeah, that big old Lion King. Yeah.
Oops. So, oh gosh. Yeah. So that's come on, it's coming, and you can't hear this, right? You don't see any audio? Hear any audio?
No, you're
okay. Good. Where is it? It's coming. There you go. And we'll zoom in shortly. All right. So they revealed that lion, and then did they reveal anyone else?
I think the lizards were revealed there as well.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of this larger body. So the size is generally similar to him, but it's not reuse, and it might be a little bit bulkier actually. But yet, like you said, they are kind of like exploring different sizes now. There is another figure that they've shown pictures of, if not prototypes of. So I don't think I'm speaking out of turn, but there is a version of the villain that is kind of like hulked out as well. That's using the same buck. So to your point, they are definitely like playing with different sizes of things. And if you're familiar with the line originally, it was a smaller toy line, and so a lot of this character Belarus, is that his name? Might not be. This character was then changed into the Void in the new incarnation.
Okay.
But so when I wasn't sure, and that's why I asked, because you mentioned in your message like newer AWOC figures, because there were new things that are announced, and so I won't rehash, but you should definitely check this out over on Highly Articulated. But I want to share with you guys, and maybe just a quick hit, that they're going to do a Kickstarter actually again to get out even more body styles. Kind of unfortunate that it's going to take like a couple of waves and another Kickstarter to get us female warriors, right? Women warriors. But unfortunately, just because of the tooling and where they're at with the line, that's what they're going to have to do. So you're going to get this new buck in this Kickstarter coming out, I want to say in March. Yeah. And so there's more to come. It might not be the same sort of science fiction things that grabbed you, but just to show you, there's like, there's that rabbit that's coming up. And
yeah, that's sort of thing I love too. Is like, I love that he's doing rabbits and he's also doing birds and lizards. And just the love for Planet of the Apes, so this is right up my alley. But then also too, like, I love playing the Star Fox video game on the N64. So like when I saw that rabbit and I saw that he's doing like a crow, I'm like, I'm gonna make a custom Star Fox team, because he's making all the molds and you can just repaint those. To make Peppy, to make Slippy.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. Oh, that was so great. Oh, and real quick, I don't, these my nerds are up in here too with me. Like, just to go back to some X-Men Hasbro love. I wish they'd do the original X Factor team in their uniforms from the 80s. Yeah, absolutely. And they could do some repaints. And there were some
got the molds.
There were some newer versions of X Factor 2 where they had some weird colors, which like just go with it. There's like a brown Cyclops at one time, I want to say, or I don't know. There was just some definitely interesting colors. And then, drop in Wilcy Portacio, which was like a big deal to me because I was like, hey, that's a Filipino dude. Yeah, that black and yellow. I'd love it if they created Apocalypse and the Four Horsemen. So not to make some Mythic Legions, but like from X-Men, right? From Mutants. The Four Horsemen from that series as well. Yeah, the gold original ones that came through, those were great. Did they not make a Warren Worthington Death or Archangel yet in Marvel Legends?
Yeah, they did the Archangel.
They have made Archangel. Okay. Yeah.
Did he have the skull mask or not?
No, it was blue.
Okay. Blue face. Yeah.
That's when he was Death.
Okay.
And yes, he's correcting me. Beast was brown and yellow. That's right. Yeah, man, they had some colors. Okay, let's move along. Let's see. Oops. Where is that link? Okay, we did the decon thing. Yeah, let's shift things a little. Oh, and you know what I haven't been doing? So, folks, yeah, it's a little bit looser of a show. My bad. That was what we call the scene, right? That was all the newsy type stuff. Great. And now we're going to kind of move into more of the let's look at some photos with the toy photography game. Is that something you all follow much, or are you into looking at toy photos?
Yeah, of course, right? D-Amazing. We know the big guys, but honestly, it's something that I've wanted to get into a little more.
And to actually do.
Actually start doing something. I built like dials and stuff, but I do want to start doing it. But right now it's kind of actually shifted now into stop motion. I want to actually like make little short stop motion stuff, but kind of the same thing, but we'll see.
That's cool. How about you, Josh?
Yeah, I'm more. I don't really do photography, but I do like more customizations and anything, like painting. But yeah, John's been like, he's on our channel, he does like all the editing and tech stuff, and he's always been big in photography, just even without toys. So yeah, he's definitely, that's his alley.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at some of the photos. Man, I'm so bummed. I'm trying to go through this right now and find one of them, but here, let's see what we can look at first. Let's start off with PL Toy Box is actually Pablo Lopez Jr. Since we are in the holiday seasons, 'tis the season. Did you all? Okay, how about this? Which of these toys in this picture do you guys have?
Well, I have the Saint Nick and Aldo the Moose. So both.
Nice, you've got them both. I have this Father Christmas, but I don't have a moose yet. Or actually, I probably won't get a moose. I gotta have some self-control, but it's. I'm sure a lot of people, when they saw that Father Christmas right away, they were like, they wanted this shot. And I love that Pablo did it right with this.
Yeah, no, this is great.
And I'm sure some of these trees were actually some of the trees there was a tree that came with it. And it looks like there might be some.
They are, yeah. It's the same material.
So I love this little scene. You know, got the owl and everything kind of going along. And I love that he shares.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like the stuff in the shot.
That's great. That's actually really good because a lot of the times people just ask that, so you'd have to be responding to all that information. And that's good that he posts it.
And he even repainted or somebody repainted that moose, right? Because it's like a white grayish color.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's cool.
I don't know if he did it himself or somebody else did, but it's really cool to see that in the snow, right?
Yeah.
There's another shot. Another
here we go.
4 Horsemen Cosmic Legion figures mixed with some NECA gargoyles action.
I love that. I love when there's like crossovers like this.
Hell yes. I'm absolutely loving this thing. Just the setup, like it's like I don't know, it's almost like an aquarium, but like an alien
thinking like
world.
Underwater, yeah.
Yeah. And this is one of my figures of the year. Spoiler alert.
The Vorga? Nice.
Yeah. Sorry, what were you gonna say, Josh, before that?
Well, I was gonna say, and it's cool now that we're even getting in the new Cosmic Legion wave, we're getting like almost like a beast alien dog in that.
Yep.
That's true.
And now you can swap that for that and
the skate back.
Yeah, the skate back.
The skate back action. And I know he's really into Vorga because and this pairing apparently because but I just picked these shots because I really, really dug them. There is another.
I like that he's using like one of the Witcher creatures that McFarlane did, right? With like the 6 arms.
Oh yeah, is that what it's called?
No, it's a Warhammer.
Warhammer.
It's a Warhammer.
I didn't know if it was called a Witcher. Okay. Yeah.
No, it's a Warhammer.
I've been wanting to pick these up. I've seen them go like really cheap and then sold out. But
you can get them for like $10. I would see them a lot at GameStop. It's a sick figure though.
Is it?
Yeah, the engineering on it to accommodate like the 6 appendages. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's cool, and I love this shot. Right, it's like it's one of those weird military. Look at what we killed, but still, it's cool. It's cool to see her and her, I guess, dog. Right, the equivalent of a dog, and
yeah, it's just like it's telling a story, right? Like we post something. There's a companionship that's happening there. There's a relationship that we're seeing. It's a moment. I love that. Really great photography.
I love the fact that we're in this age one where like people are doing cool things with their toys, like taking photos, and then they are now have a venue, right? To share it, and then like social media, and then there's like people like us who are like, hey, let's create like another venue for people to like talk about it, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah, to discover it. Yeah,
place we found ourselves in. All right. Let's see. Let's shift. Actually, you know what? Just because we're running short on time, I would love to kind of focus a little bit on That's What's Up. Let's shift focus a little bit, and I want to focus on one person's work in particular.
All right.
We'll do 2 people's work in particular. Some custom figs, and so it's funny. What did you say the name of that, Josh? That figure? What toy line? It's the Warhammer?
Yeah, the Warhammer. Yep.
That's it. Sorry. It's one of those things that I grew up with as a young person, like back in the day, but I never played. And so it's from the UK. I want to say it was really big there, right? And I don't know.
It is. Like Henry Cavill, he's like really into it.
Yeah. So I don't know how like familiar people are with that. But if you aren't, it's kind of grim and like real like muted colors. Like if there's anything like people wearing red armor, blue armor, but it's like real muted.
Yeah.
I wanted to share this customizer's work. So like I said, people are taking photographs of their stuff, but now people are like making their own stuff, right? They're taking their toys. This is Zio Adams.
Oh wow.
And dude, this guy,
What a
man, his
what a
use of
great use.
color.
And that rage head too, man.
Yes. So it's this what I love about Zio's work when I saw these, I was like, one, I know Warhammer, and sort of in my head again, it's a little bit of that grim dark battle heavy blah blah blah. But the way that he's sort of chosen to mix these things together, I think is
Yeah.
like artful, right? The use of bright colors, and like you said, like this is the rage head, which is like not really familiar with the character. He's like a tiger bobcat kind of thing.
Something like that, yeah.
Well, I
I'm
just
not
love that
sure either.
but he threw in this little kitten, like, so it's like, right? He's like this giant hulked out, like
Yeah.
dude going out for war or whatever, and like
He's got a little kitty.
yeah, I gotta save that kitty. So I love that, and so he's been doing for this last year a series of these, and so here's another one. Again, you can see like I don't know if he's getting a deal. I think Zio was in. Are you in here? If so, like what's the deal? Are you getting hooked up with these these bodies or what? Yeah, so he was pointing out there was a gene stealer from that Warhammer earlier, and
Okay.
and I think it was
I do want to shout out, man, like how clean your paintwork is. Your
yes.
edges are so crisp. Like
Yep.
either you're doing really time-consuming masking or you're just a very steady hand. Either way, like amazing paintwork here.
So good. And then again, the use of parts, right?
Yeah.
It's a Thor figure, I'm assuming. I couldn't tell
No, I
you
think
which
it's the DC Multiverse Aquaman. I think.
Aquaman. Yep.
Right?
Zio will let know, right? What's
Yeah, I'm not familiar. But yo, just check it out. And I love the colors. It was like it's something about like 80s Princess of Power She-Ra stuff mixed in with this like heavy mech thing that like I love, man. Like I want to see this cartoon where they're going out in this armor and like whatever, saving cats every now and then. Oh, I should go back to that other one. But yeah, you can see all of this stuff, and I love when customizers will like kind of show us process,
show the recipe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So wings cut out from the helmet and put on the boots. Got it.
Wow.
So it's more than just the painting, right? And you've got so good.
Yeah, it's always good when a toy can create a story for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's the color, the posability, the look of it. That's always like for me. When that happens, I know I like that toy, right?
Yep. And I love that people are taking existing toys and like making it their own. So like,
yeah.
Oh, I should highlight. He's calling them the Space Daddies, which I love. So this is Space Daddy Ludwig. Space Daddy Ludwig reporting for duty. And then we've got Space Daddy Amarillo Loco y el Niño Exposito. Oh, there you go. That's the kitty cat.
Yeah.
And we've got Space Daddy Sons of the Phoenix, Lieutenant Anthony Teardrops of Fire reporting.
Zio did say that it is the Aquaman head sculpts on that Space Daddy Ludwig. So these are cool, man. These are cool.
Yeah, and especially when you can even get like the blanks, like where Todd's coming out with just like the gray scales, and you can just paint it up.
Yeah.
I mean, he's making it just for exactly what Zio's doing.
Yeah, that's the thing. An understanding that Todd has. Like Warhammer is minis that you paint, right? Like you paint those yourself and create your own armies. So to have that in a 6-inch line or 7-inch line for him, he understands that fandom, right? He's giving you the paint options, or you can paint it yourself. Man, I love the grayscale stuff.
Super smart.
Yeah,
man, check this out. Like again, the recipe, and you kind of see this. We were talking X-Men earlier. We got
oh man,
boom. Here comes
That
the
is so
boom. So
Yep.
Zia, what's the deal? Is she a space daddy? What are we calling her now?
She's Space Mommy.
Space mama.
No, I like what Zio's saying here too. Like it just came like naturally. Like they had these extra head scopes, they didn't want to waste them, and so they're like, let's just make something with it. I love that, like just how natural that came of an idea.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was super like excited when I saw these, and I'm super late to the game. And so Zio's over on the Toy Migos, or is it Enablers, or maybe both? And that's where I saw it, and I was like, man, I totally missed these, and went back to his Instagram and just got excited to see all of this stuff.
Yeah,
Here you see the process. Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh,
And the color swatches, like just everything, man.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's
what you're saying.
His like render, like he does his digital render of how he wants it to look. It actually came out better. I think like the colors look better. I actually think the greens are probably way more on his actual final product. Looks really good.
Yeah, man. I mean, I could go on for days, and I won't necessarily spend as much time on each one, but just to give you guys a sense, and we can just keep talking as I throw these on. But so there you go. So this is a little bit more intense, right? Taking two figures, a McFarlane and a Legends, and mixing it up.
Dang.
That's so cool, especially because not very many people see that head sculpt, so people would be able not even to recognize that, right? Because it's covered up by the dome.
Right, it looks more unique. There's a uniqueness to it, right? Yeah. Oh man.
And Warhammer, you all created like a really cool silhouette, right? So there's some good starting place, and now like imagine in all these colors, right? This bright green. And of course I have this bike too from McFarlane just because it's just so cool.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I love it. And then there's some that aren't like as super like bright pops of color either, but are still super cool with a combination of heads, right?
Yeah, this one's my favorite. This one is sick.
Like, I mean, there's like a look at that. There is a potential, an argument for like, I know you're using Warhammer bodies, but if you switch that body up a little bit, kind of create it's a whole new line, right? With the bright colors.
True.
Similar concept. Like, man, dude, I'd be all over it.
I think the design work here, like, they're using these bodies as like starting points, but like, their eye for design and sourcing parts is like excellent. Like they're operating at a high level there.
Agreed. And here you go, Space Daddy, Reaver Gabriel. Man, I just there's more here. I'll just share oh no, two more, I swear. Okay, here, just because of colors, and then I'll end on one that's actually the opposite, very little color. But here you go. Here's Space Daddy Roderick. Oops, not you, Woodland. Let's see. Just bright colors.
Yeah, I love it. The pastels, man. Look at that hint of green too in the back. Just
I feel like this could appeal to the Fortnite crowd too, right? With these colors.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the llama guy colors, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, last one. So it's not just the colors, right? Although that pop of color, like all black, focus on that white, and then you've got this dude, right?
I'm getting like bone, like because of that red skull, like I feel like it's a bone white. That might be used, but like I love it. Yeah, it's just so clean.
Whew. How are you guys for time? I just realized it's a little past. Are you okay, or should we close it off?
Yeah, I'm okay. We're good.
Okay,
yeah, we're okay.
If you're okay, let me show you one last sort of that's what's up designer, and then let's talk a little bit about what's up with you guys after here, which we kind of did in the beginning. Here's another artist that caught my eye. Lucen 426 is Journey 426. So I don't totally know, and I can't really read the descriptions because I am illiterate in this language. But I don't know if you can tell what's going on here with this Dragon Ball Z figure, but they've gone
Naruto.
Sorry, yes, Naruto with the the headband, but the paint style.
Yeah, it's
the
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
cell shading to the extreme. Like it's amazing. And so you look at this, I'm like, oh, that's a cool flat thing. And then it starts moving, and you're like, wait, this is a fully
3D
three-dimensional
figure. Yeah.
piece. And Lucen 426 kind of blew my mind with that. I don't know, maybe I'm simple, but that trips me out. Look at all that detail. And here's another one, Dragon Ball.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, just fully committed to that cell shading.
Yeah, that's
But
trippy.
Mm-hmm.
That's trippy to see that because they look flat.
And my assumption is these are just, these statues and or figures. These are statues, but like, right? You can see the sort of
Yeah.
originals in the back, and
Yeah.
then just with their paint, like
That looks
amazing.
good. Amazing.
And
yeah.
so I was trying to dissect these and look at them. I was like, okay, there's paint going on, but there's like really fine line stuff. And so I love it again when creators share, so you can kind of see getting in there with those real fine line markers.
Oh, he's using interesting.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
you have to get like a lot of crisp lines for what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's that final product, and then
Yeah,
see, again,
man,
like when he holds it, it looks
Phew.
flat, and then he
Yeah.
moves it, and I'm just like, ah.
Yeah, it
That
almost looks like
optical
a
illusion.
hologram or something, like a projected hologram.
Exactly. Like it was messing with my brain a little bit when I was looking at these. Like, what is going on? Smart choices with like the real bright highlights and the colors to kind of sell it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're
Yeah,
like,
no,
I don't know, I'm just trying to
amazing.
think of how to study this, because I mean, maybe
could
you're
be
taking it
pulling-
from some source material.
Yeah,
but
he could be pulling like frames from the comics or from the show, and like just picking a light source maybe, and just
Yeah.
that's where my shadows or lights are coming from. But yeah, no, it is trippy.
But at a certain point, are you going to get the 360 view, or are you going to you're going to have to do some creating at some point, right? Some creative
Right? Yeah,
choices.
exactly. Yeah, that's
That's-
true.
That's true.
Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of planning that goes into that.
And this will be the last one, but you can see like it goes from that
Yeah,
flat.
Yeah, the way he creates it, the flatness to it. That's impressive, man.
Lucen 426, man, and Zio, man, y'all are just crazy talented, doing some amazing things. Look at that. And what I'm sensing is like there's no shortage of just like amazing work, right, on the internet, especially on the custom toy front and art front.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of stuff that I didn't even show today that I was hoping to show, but like just time, and I wasn't super prepared. But yeah, man, it's amazing. Oops, my bad. I didn't mean to like keep you there that long. But yeah, I hope that didn't hide too much of this stuff. Hope folks could see, but it's pretty amazing, man. I love this stuff and the talent. Whew. Anyways, that I think we'll have to do it for the other stuff. But in terms of that's what's up, there's actually let me see. There's actually one more. My bad. There's this other thing that I wanted to talk about. Let me pull it up real quick. Here you go. I don't know if you guys have heard of this. So this is a YouTube channel called The Collecting Brothers, and actually it's really good. We front loaded a little bit about your story, but maybe could you tell us a little bit about the sort of YouTube journey? Oh, and there's can you tell us a little bit about like how that's been going for you? You said it was about a year or so.
And for this journey, man, it's been weird. Like I've been shooting video my whole life, basically. Well, so like since I was a kid, like I had a JVC handheld camera that my parents got me one Christmas, and I would shoot little random videos with Josh, my other brother, and post them on YouTube. And I was always part of that culture, but never like fully committed to it. I was always very passive. But I've always edited video and shot my own video and stuff. And I make edits on my other channel, just like a personal one. It's not updated or anything like that, so I won't shout it out. But it's always like been a passion for me of editing and shooting, and to get to do that, combine that with action figures, was this YouTube. And when you fully commit to YouTube, and I don't know if you've had the same experience, but it is such a interesting learning curve, because there's so many ways you can do YouTube that not necessarily every one way is right or wrong or going to be more successful or not. And so just being able to learn like how YouTube works, learn how
Mhm.
audiences respond to content, what content does good, what content does bad. Like it's
Mhm.
almost like unlearnable, you know, because you never know and you can never really tell. But it's been a really good learning journey as like a teacher. That's my favorite part of being a teacher, is that I get to learn and try new things every day
Yep.
with students. And so learning YouTube was just this whole endeavor that I'm still learning like new things about it all the time. But it's been fun, man. And honestly, like again, like we said earlier, the show, it was just me and Josh talking already about this stuff. Why not
Uh-huh.
post it for everyone else to see?
Yeah, and for me, it's like I'm just always grateful for John, because this would like toys are my passion, but like I would never know how to do editing or like all the layouts that you're really good with, Brick, and so is John. And just it's just something that it would just take me forever to learn, and so it's just a daunting task. And I think also just having it be my brother, it like
Yeah.
helps with that I can say whatever I want to him. And I don't
Yeah.
like if it was like another person, I feel like we have to tiptoe, or I would be afraid to say, "Oh, can we change this or that?" But since it's John,
Sure.
I can tell him whatever. And also
You're like,
just
that
having
sucks.
someone,
Change it.
Exactly.
exactly. And I think also just having someone that holds you accountable, because like with YouTube, you know, a lot of it is consistency. And like I feel like if I was doing this alone, you know, you would get burnt out and you'd be like, is this worth it? But just having someone there to always keep you accountable and keep me consistent, it's just been a really good relationship with having my brother there.
That's
Yeah, no,
awesome, man.
it's been fun. And shout out to Ray. Ray Paz has been with us for like he said, mid-March, man. He's been supporting us, commenting, and honestly, like we love him, and we love you, Ray, for being here, for tuning in every week, and or catching us when you can. So thank you, Ray.
Yeah, man, that's great. And yeah, it's great to meet, you know, folks who like are into your stuff and like want to jump into the chat and just like want to chat with other people about the same kinds of things that they're like geeking out on, you know? And
Yeah.
like
And even
so
even you, like this invite was like it meant a lot for us, like to be part of this toy community more fully instead of just producing our own things. We're able to join other people and help them and converse with you, man. Was great. So like really appreciate the invite to
oh, of
your show.
course. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
no.
it was huge.
I'm just like
it
I'm
felt
watching
big.
What? No.
Yeah, it did. It felt big just to finally get an invite from somebody, you know?
Yeah.
Yours is like, I think your channel's much larger than mine, for the record, but still, I get it. Like, yeah, it's kind of, it might be, I feel the same way every single time I'm invited to be on somebody else's channel. Like
Yeah.
it took like Oz from Nostradamus Toys. I was just watching his stream one day and I happened to be, he was unboxing his Headless Horseman. I was like, oh, cool. I'm going to unbox mine while he's opening his. And like, you know, and then all of a sudden I'm in the chat like, oh yeah, that's cool. I'm opening mine too. And he's like, well, hey man, why don't you just jump on the stream? I was like, all right. I had the, did I start the channel? Yeah, I had been doing the channel. So I had this stuff, but I was kind of shy about the live streaming thing. So he was just like, yeah, just jump on. I was like, okay, well, sure. Let's just try this out. And
Right.
then I was, I was on other people like Toy Connections or whatever. So it's been, I get that. And are you saying that like you haven't been on a lot of other shows or?
This is our
We
first one,
really
man.
have. Yeah, we really haven't. We've just kind of been our own little bubble, just focusing on producing news every week, and then also like shorts as well, and then just kind of doing it for ourselves. Like, yeah, we like tune into Bill like on Dorklair and watch his stuff just because like we like that toy line. But outside of that, like we haven't really been going out to other shows and stuff. So
well, dude, let's I want to like make sure that you're connected with folks that have like helped me out, and they would love to have you. Like, there's kind of like this ongoing Saturday night thing over on Oz's channel, the Clubhouse. Just come hang out, and then like put you on some IG stuff. Like, folks would love to connect. We're always kind of like trying to build up the network, man. It's like the whole rising tides, like helps whatever, and just like it's community. Like I could be buying these toys in isolation, but it's a lot more fun to like know that other people are excited about the same things you are and pointing out new things, right? I'm constantly learning from other people. Like, for me to be able to talk about Zio's work and then have Zio in here, like share like, oh, this is what I did. And
yeah, that's amazing.
It's awesome, right?
Yeah,
or like
that's so great.
So, I mean, we got to make sure that you're hanging out and you're definitely doing this a lot more. You should be on other channels for sure. I
Love to join,
remember.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll talk to we'll see. And I love this. Who did the logo?
That was me.
Are you messing around
So-
in like a 3D program or?
No, so that the image there of both of us is AI generated with the prompt that I kind of
Gotcha.
find it. But like the diamond esque thing, that I took inspiration from another one of our favorite YouTubers is Gem Mint Collectibles, and his logo's a gem, and so just kind of taking inspiration from everyone around us to get that logo there. But yeah, I mean, I'm not even happy with it. It works for now. Maybe it'll change later. Who knows?
That's the journey, right? Like,
yeah.
And I have somebody asked. I was on a Punk with Toys a couple weeks ago, and he asked me like, where you want your channel to go? And I was like, I don't know. And I wasn't even trying to be like shy about it. It's like I just started this thing and just started messing with it, and I'm having fun with it. And
Right.
I don't yet have a plan. I don't have a sense of where to go. And I think it's a lot of what you said earlier, that I'm constantly like learning what's even possible or how the algorithm works and all that kind of stuff. So I honestly just don't even know.
Right.
But what I do know is I love this. I love that's why I created this show. Was I wanted a container that I can just talk about the things that I want. But then I want to bring other people in and like be able to collaborate with folks and get to know other folks. So
I think that's great. I think with us where it was two of us, like I think we had that need met, but I do love talking to more people. Like I think it's great. If we definitely did this solo, I think that drive for community would be a little stronger.
Yeah.
But me and Josh already have a pretty good back and forth on our shows, and so we feel
especially
good.
Just to learn new things, like that gem that you talked about, and like with the Micronauts connecting it Transformers, like I would have never known about that, and to me that blew my mind. That
cool
knowledge drop was amazing. Yeah, just like to learn new things, because everybody has their like niche that they're passionate about, just within collecting.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, man. And I've been doing like the shorts thing, as Ray Paz puts out here. It's like, and that was just a new thing that was again inspired by a friend, Allison, who was in the chat, Retro Toy Princess. She does coloring shorts. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a cool idea. Let's use the shorts. And she totally educated me on like how to use shorts and how like the do's and don'ts kind of thing, and like what seems to be useful for the algorithm. So again, I'm just learning. And at the end of the day, I'm having fun with my toys. So it's just another excuse to kind of like do it and share it. So right on, man.
It's been an interesting journey doing YouTube. I've enjoyed it. It's had its highs and lows. But we're going to keep doing it. I mean, we're already going to be talking about toys, and I'd love to talk more about toys with other people as well, man.
Right on.
Yeah, we should definitely have like Brick come on. You should come on one of our episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love it. I totally love it. You do all pre-recorded, or do you do lives too, or how do you do that?
We do our weeklies are pre-recorded, just to kind of trim out some of the fat that we do. But we do have guests that come on, and we'd love to have you. And we can do lives. We do live unboxings on Sundays occasionally, where Josh just kind of whatever figures we picked up for the week, and Josh opens them up. And like Ray was saying too, like we used to do posts where we did like figure of the day,
right?
And I think I might get back to doing that, because like you're saying, it gets me playing with my toys a little more. I'm teaching a split this year, 2 grades, so it's been a little hectic on my end. But
yeah, I hear you on that. Well, definitely, I'm totally down to hang out anytime, and I want to make sure that you're hanging out with a bunch of other people on different channels too. So let's make that happen for 2024. Whoa, that's weird. Hold on. Let's fix our faces. Okay, cool. So thank you both for joining me. And I know we ran a little later, and that's kind of what I've been doing lately. Plus, I've been a little bit under the weather, so I ain't all here. Thank you, though, man. Seriously, this was super fun meeting both of you. And I think this may be the first or maybe second time where I've had 2 people on here. So it was kind of fun to do that. Anyways, Collecting Brothers, every Saturday you drop it. It's like a particular time.
Oh, nice.
Is it a particular time on Saturdays that you do your thing? Hello? Did I lose you?
Hello. Yeah, we can hear you. So a little staticky there, but yeah, I do want to mention that we are doing a 1,000 subscriber giveaway. We're really close to hitting 1,000 subscribers. That we're going to give away two figures, and to any person who's commented down below their pick of the week on any of our weekly episodes. But if you want, I can do our sign off.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's because I was playing the music. Was my audio getting cut off?
Oh,
cool. I killed that.
it was a little.
So I want to make sure that everyone can hear. Saturdays. What time do you drop your Saturday shows?
9 o'clock. It's kind of like what Foosh does with the Saturday morning cartoons. We just kind of want to add our own programming to that as well, so you could catch all the toy news and all the personalities that you wanted on Saturday mornings.
Time zone?
Yeah, so 9 o'clock Mountain time.
So 9 o'clock Mountain time. Nice little Saturday morning. And then you said you do some live stuff, and you're doing a 1,000 subscriber giveaway. I just want to make sure that didn't get cut off. So how are you all doing that?
Yeah, so 1,000 subscribers. As soon as we get to that mark, we're really close. But with that, all you gotta do is leave a comment on any of our weekly videos and just tell us your pick of the week. So we do a thing where at the end of the week we choose our favorite figure that from that news that was revealed. And so just leave one comment, and you can enter multiple times, right? If you comment your pick of the week on multiple episodes, those all count as entries. So, and we'll do a final drawing once we get to 1,000 subscribers.
There you go, folks. Yeah, so why don't you close us off, since Collecting Brothers are joining me here on the Brick Something News. Thank you all. For me, you'll see you again next Sunday. Oh, next Sunday is a holiday, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So I haven't quite figured out how that's going to work for the next 2 Sundays. I'll probably do a pre-recorded thing.
Yeah.
We'll see. But check out the community tab, subscribe to Collecting Brothers, and then why don't you all go ahead and close us out?
All right. As always, friends. Sorry. As always, friends, keep collecting, keep playing, and may the action figure gods smile upon you. Peace.
Love it. Peace, folks. Thank you. Woohoo!
Thank you, Brick.
Yeah, man, you're welcome. See you, folks. See you. And then there's that